Hello everyone. I'm gonna do my best not to sniffle too much. Normally I wouldn't film when I've got this much of a cold, but I've been home for a couple days because of the cold, and so I've gotten some stitching done. It's starting to get to the point where I wish I were organized enough to have a before picture so you could see where I started at. Now this is Sleigh Bells Ring from the January 2017 issue of Cross Stitcher magazine. And if I had a before picture, you would have seen basically that. And that would have been off too. So this is my most recently stitched thing. And usually when I work on this one, I try to get a building done. So I went for this peachy reddish building, and since I was using the peachy color, peachy pink, I put it in there too. The blank bits, if you look really closely, there, the unstitched bits are meant to be a metallic, and the pattern calls for a gold metallic, but because I'm stitching this on, it's a picture of this Plus Crystal Mirage Lugana 28 count. Because I'm stitching it on that, I just feel like gold will look funny with that stormy, cloudy night sky background thing going on. I'm still debating if I want to do a white or something that looks more pearlescent, or maybe a silver. But I mean, it doesn't have to happen right now, so yeah. So that's my Sleigh Bells ring coming along bit by bit. I'd say I'm not quite at the quarter point. This was a Stitch Mania start. Yeah, just work on it bit by bit. I find it is a bit difficult to stitch on. The holes are hard to find sometimes. But maybe I just need better lighting. The thing I worked on before this was my Alessandra Adelaide. Now I don't have a nice copy of this, so I just have this printout. So I've been stitching. I'm using a Weeks Dye Works. I did all the red already. Now I'm working just with Hunter. Couldn't work on it for a while because I didn't have enough green, but I went out and bought a bunch of skeins. So here's where I'm at. This was another one that I worked on today. My goal today was to finish a page, which basically meant this. So I did that, which is why there's this little bit of a leaf or swirl here, because I was at the edge of the page. Every time I pull this out, I debate with myself, do I want, you can see these little curly bits, and then if you look closely, I'll just zoom in. If you look closely, there we go, there are dots, and those dots are beads. Now, I'm not sure off the top of my head exactly what's called for there, but I'm thinking I either want to do green back stitching with red beads, like almost as if they were berries, maybe holly berries, or just keep it generally festive and do a gold metallic back stitching with a gold bead. I don't know, do you have an opinion? What might look better and for what reason? I keep going back and forth on that one, and I've got a while left before I have to decide. So I would say I'm coming up to close to half done. I've done all the red stitching, definitely close to half done the green. So So that's my Alessandra Adelaide. I should mention this chart was a gift from someone probably through Stitchmania. A very unexpected gift, I might add. I can't remember her name now, which is awful. But every time I pull it out, I think of her and I really appreciate it. All right, Soda Stitch. So, love this chart. It's so easy to set yourself a mini goal. So I started with the cookies, and then I did the bed and the grandma and the trees. And this time around, I thought I would do the center motif, which is what I did. I did not do the bow bit. So there you go. There she is. They're all backstitched. Here's another seeking your opinion thing. The clouds. Because I used a green fabric, and in real life, I don't know how it's looking on your monitor, but in real life, that fabric is a fairly vibrant green. I don't know. It's hard. My camera doesn't like green for some reason. But yeah, it's a fairly vibrant green, and now I've got green clouds. So I'm thinking maybe I should frog the outlines, which isn't a big deal. It's just a few stitches, and cross stitch the cloud area in white and then re-outline them. I wouldn't even have to figure out half stitches, because in this chart, you can see if we pull it closer, there they go. There you go. You can see how the back stitch lines cross over full cross stitches all the time. I haven't encountered any partial stitches yet. So, get to focus again. There we go. So there's a good example right there. So I wouldn't even have to be picky about where I put half stitches and so on. This is one of those designs where I just can't get over how clever the design is. Doesn't use a whole lot of colors. Like I said, no partial stitches, and there actually isn't a lot of back stitching. It's kind of a sketchy style. Sketchy as in like a sketch, not sketchy as in not to be trusted. And it works. It really works. And you put that back stitching in and it just pops. I love it. All right, and now I have a finish to show you. No, I don't. Sorry. One more and then a finish. Okay. This was started years ago. The boy it's intended for is now, I think he's 9 or something crazy like that. I had started another one for him, but then another boy was born in the family and it seemed to suit him really well, so I gave it to him, and this poor guy's had to wait and wait and wait. Part of the problem was I had so many problems with that monkey's mouth. The browns, the shades of brown, they look like 3 distinct shades in this picture, but in real life, the 2 lighter browns are quite close, I find, and somehow that threw me for a loop. So for some reason, I just couldn't figure out how to fix it, and so I left it for a long time. But I recently picked it up again, and it turned out to be not nearly as hard to fix as I thought it was going to be. And it also turns out I've got a good chunk of the cross stitch done already. There we go. Quite a bit of it. There's still, well, obviously the name and those details. And then as far as just cross stitch goes, just some leaves here, I think. Oh, and this blue border, but that's easy enough to put in. And some bits on this bird. So I started doing I started doing some of the back stitch because there's a lot of it. So I did back stitch this turtle completely. I think I used 2 strands for that eye, that French knot eye. Got a large eye, this turtle. And then I started doing some of this border here and here. Elephant's ear a little bit. Just trying to get a bit of a head start on the back stitch so it's not all left for me to do. The sun was kind of fun. It's really hard to keep track of where you're going because there's just so many zigzags, but it's working. And look, there's the monkey, and it's okay now. And if I didn't get it exactly right, that's fine. The I'll trust to the back stitching to sort that all out. Okay, now I'm coming to my finish. So this finish was, this finish was another Stitch Mania start, and it's the Clouds Factory Robin Hood. I stitched it, as you can see here on the edge, I stitched it on a hand-dyed fabric by Rolanda Snyder. She's a Canadian hand dyer. I asked her for something sort of parchmenty looking or a forest green, and she had this on hand. So here they are. Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest. Oodalally, oodalally, golly, what a day. It's been a ton of fun to stitch. I did it sort of character by character, and then when I got to the bottom, I just didn't want to put it down. And to help me pick which character to do next, I asked my nieces and nephews and some other kids too, and they got to pick which one, and we had a lot of fun. In fact, it was one of my nieces who noticed that I was missing some back stitching on the snake, and that led me to notice that I'd actually, those black stitches there, I'd actually put them in green. So I had to fix that. She's got an eagle eye, that one, which is good because I don't. So there we go. There's the Friar and Little John and Robin Hood, of course, and Maid Marian and Lady Cluck and the wee, very poor, starving rabbits. And I don't know what his name is, and that would be King Richard, King John, King Richard, Sir Hiss, the evil sheriff, and the troubadour. Is that what he's called? The guy that walks around singing. The rooster. Did some of this while I was on my trip out east over the summer. Now, it's a fun piece. It's not very large. Like, there's my hand for reference. So, one hand by two hands. But I am thinking of maybe finishing it as a no-sew cube. Never done that before though, so I'm a little bit, it's been sitting for a while. We'll see. I can't afford to frame everything I sew or stitch. So yeah. And one more bit of news before I close out. This is going to be a nice short one. I have met a local stitching friend. So that was exciting. I kind of figured out that she must be close by just by some comments she made on Stitch Mania. And thankfully, when I messaged and said, hey, I'm here and you're there and we're really close together, she wasn't totally creeped out. So we met the other evening in a coffee shop and had some fun sharing what we're interested in and stitching together and all the rest of it. And yeah, it was kind of exciting. So we've been messaging back and forth and showing each other our progress, and yeah, it's been good. Alright, so thanks for watching my super de-duper short floss tube. Thanks to those of you who have subscribed and those of you who have liked. I really do appreciate that. And I'll talk to you next time.